Hey everyone, and welcome back. It's Gina from orchidandopal.com, and today we're going to be checking out the double 11-0 Miyuki Delica's Beads of the Month Club. If you haven't heard about these clubs, there are different ones that you can sign up for, including 5 other types like gemstones and 2-hole beads. And they also offer the option of rotating through all of their different beading clubs, which this is a part of. This is part of my double rotating club. And the double is referring to the fact that it is the larger size club. They also have a single version, and you can check out all the details on their website, which I will have linked right down below the video in the description section. That way you can see all that they have to offer. But I love these clubs, especially because if you know what you like to use and you're used to using a lot of Delicas, for example, which are amazing for bead weaving, things like peyote stitch, brick stitch, bezeling, it's a great way to build up your stash of different colors and finishes over time in the form of a fun monthly surprise in the mail. So as you can see, the theme of the club that I received this time around is called Sagebrush, and every month the colors are coordinated and really thoughtfully put together by their team. So you can put these different colors together if you want to, or use them separately with other items you currently have in your stash. Here's a sneak peek at the beads from the Sagebrush theme, and we'll take a closer look at each of these in just a moment. But with the double size club, you're going to get a total of 8 different containers, and they're going to be holding 25 grams of Miyuki Delicas. The single size club would have half the quantities, but the same number of colors, so each container would instead have 12.5 grams of beads. If you're on the same rotation as me, you may have received Sagebrush as well, but you may have received a different theme. So that can actually vary from person to person depending on what you've received already in the past and what they have on hand to send. Also, if you are new to Beads of the Month Club, you can use the coupon code OPAL10, OPAL10. That will save you 10% off the first month of your first club if you want to try them out. And you're welcome to sign up to more than one of their clubs. Before we get into the beads, let's take a peek at the companion packs real quick. We'll start with the crystals and then go on from there. So the crystals, we've got our 3 different items, which is what you can commonly find in these packs. And you're going to see an assortment of all different types of crystals come if you are subscribed to this over time. Usually they will send some sort of a pendant or a larger focal item, along with a couple other bags of some smaller, varied shaped crystals. And they're going to be on par with Swarovski crystal quality, or actually Swarovski crystal as their supplies allow. So these will be kind of color coordinated as well, not necessarily meant to go with the bead club that you receive, but certainly can. And there you can see the 3 varieties of Swarovski crystal inside. Of course, we need to take these out to really appreciate them and see some of that sparkly goodness up close. So here's the first item. This is the light topaz lily pendant. It's 28 millimeters in length, so it's pretty substantial in size. And you can see where the hole is located there, going right through the top, how cleanly that's drilled. It's got that beautiful weight of the Swarovski crystal and the clarity too. Just look how beautiful and sparkly that is and how precise the cuts are. I will say this kind of reminds me of a summer squash, so that's kind of interesting. But it does have sort of an organic shape. It's got a little curve to it and sort of rounded at the top, not coming to a peak. And this is one of those items you could add some type of a bead motif or component around the top, maybe a beaded bead cap, perhaps incorporating some of those delicas. So those are just a couple ideas that come in mind right away for this pendant. And then here are the other 2 varieties they sent along with the pendant. We have the 8 millimeter Indian red rounds. They're also faceted, as you can see, and they're kind of a reddish orange. They definitely look to be more orange than red. And they're another really beautiful warm shade that could be combined with the pendant and also these helix beads, the other smaller beads. I thought they were bicones at first, but if you look close, they're actually the Colorado Topaz Helix beads. There's 32 of those and 6 of those rounds that we were just talking about. And they're just so interesting. The helix with their cuts sort of being on the diagonal. And you could probably use those in place of bicones of the 4 millimeter size in many cases. They just have a slightly different and really interesting cut. So the companion pack is about $15.95 right now, and that's a good example of what you can expect. Three different types of crystal items, sometimes coming in more basic shapes and sometimes coming in more interesting or obscure cuts. And next we have the Findings companion pack. It looks like we have some copper items included in this one. And again, if you sign up to one of these companion packs, the colors of the findings, they're going to coordinate each and every month, but they will rotate all around. So you're going to build up a stash of different types of metallic finishes. And they may end up going or coordinating with your beads for the month, or they may not necessarily. But I find that it's been really helpful to have these findings on hand to combine with other months' themes and other things I have in my stash. Sometimes with the findings even being the basis for some inspiration for a new piece. These companion packs are about $12.95 per month. Again, both of those shipping with no additional cost along with a bead subscription. And we'll take a look at these contents up close right now. All right, our first item is called the copper bead frame. It's got that scrolling design, kind of a square shape, and it's really interesting with the holes that it has on either side of that frame. So you could put something really interesting, maybe a specialty one-off bead that you have to use in there, and turn that into maybe a focal component or a pendant, just to give you an idea of what you could do with something like that. And this really sets the tone for our findings. The colors all seem to coordinate well with that bright copper, and this bead frame appears to be the same on both sides. Here's another great example of a unique finding. This is the adjustable ring with loops. So you can see there at the bottom, that's actually how you can adjust that by opening and closing that ever so slightly. And it's got these loops here that will act as a foundation for some beading if you wanted to bead some crystals or small pearls in between those loops. That's certainly one way you could use this. And it's not a type of finding that I have, even after the months of getting findings from Beads the Month Club. That's still something new, which is another thing I really appreciate about the subscriptions. I have three more items here. The set of hook style ear wires, there's two pair of those, which are really simple. Also, the swivel lobster clasp. So, they're taking the concept of a lobster clasp, but making it even better with that swivel. So, it will turn and give a little bit more with the beadwork. And they're quite substantial. I like that too. So definitely something you could use, especially with some heavier bead strands, because those feel like they will hold up well to a more substantial project. And then you can also see there is a set of 6 of the 8mm flower bead caps with their 4-petal design, very smooth and shiny as well. And those open areas making these feel a little bit more airy and light, even though they're not super thin and won't bend easily. I think that little bit of extra openness is a great design feature. And then here are the remaining 3 items. We've got the 5-hole link components, and there's a total of 4 of those with 2 loops on the top and 3 on the bottom. They have a slight curve, and there is a look at the back there where it appears you could even add some little rhinestones inside or some type of resin if you wanted to. You could get creative with that. Or you could just feature the flat and smooth side if you'd like. There's also a set of 6 of these nice delicate ball head pins with their very minimal design and smooth metallic finish. And finally, we have a hook and eye clasp in the coordinating tone of bright copper with that really simple loop component and the hook that coordinates both of those being the same on either side. So that's another great example of a findings companion pack. Something similar is what you can expect, maybe in different finishes and, of course, different styles. But I love how everything here coordinates together, and you could put things together even without having a huge stash built up of similar colored findings to pull from. Maybe just use some jump rings, chain, and a few other things to add to this. You've got quite a range to work with. So those are about $12.95 per month at this point if you choose to add those on. And by the way, Beads of the Month Club will ship anywhere in the US, of course. And at the same time, if you want to contact them, if you're outside of the US, feel free to do that because they're happy to provide you a quote to your specific location and let you know if they're able to ship to you. But they have such responsive customer service. I definitely have had a great experience myself, but also hearing from a lot of you all too over the years. All right, now we're going to get into our beads this month, the Double Delica's Beads of the Month Club. Our 8 different containers, everything listed on the front with the suggested retail cost. And there is a little bit of a savings for their clubs over the retail cost. However, in my personal opinion, one of the greatest selling points of these different clubs is the element of surprise, because I know for me, it pushes me out of my comfort zone sometimes to receive items that I didn't personally pick out. And it challenges me to use those things, even thinking about color palettes in a different way. Not to mention, they've done that work for you, and what they send over time is really consistent. One other perk to the beading clubs is that every month on your printed invoice in your package, you're going to have a link that's at the bottom that will take you to a new web page every time where you can download 3 free beading patterns. A lot of them use these specialty check glass beads, but you'll often find seed beads and delicas like this. And I just keep saving those to a folder on my computer. And over time, those patterns really do add up. Now, at this point, let's go ahead and open up this package so we can get a closer look at all these gorgeous colors and finishes in this sagebrush theme. All right, so first, here's an overall look at the palette, which is stunning. It's well coordinated, well thought out, and I just love the different aspects of the combination of colors and finishes, which keeps everything really interesting. And I think when you're putting things together, often combining finishes like that can really help elevate some pieces, make them feel special, with some great examples in this palette, starting with the Avocado Opaque AB, which is like a dark sage green, and it has the AB coating, so you see those hints of metallic flash, especially a little bit of blue and violet, depending on how the light is turned, and that glossy finish. The second option being the Sparkle Pewter Lined Crystal AB with the crystal clear glass on the exterior and the pewter lining inside. It's just gorgeous and really a unique combination in itself, with a lot of shimmer because of that extra crystal glass exterior surrounding the metallic lined hole, but also with the AB on this as well, giving that the additional appearance of iridescence. Variety 3 is the matte transparent topaz AB. So here we get that frosty looking appearance, yet they still allow a little bit of light to show through. And the AB coating a bit more toned down on this warmer topaz color, but adding a hint of a soft glow overall. And here is variety number 4. This is called Matte Transparent Olive. So this is one that doesn't have an additional coating on it. It's just leaving that saturated medium green color left as it is, but we do have the matte finish. So they have a bit more of a velvety appearance instead of the shiny, satiny exterior. Number 5 is the Transparent Pale Peach Luster, and I would describe those as kind of pearlescent. They have a light, creamy, shiny exterior with just a bit more shine than you'd see on transparent peach beads without the luster coating. So another stunner. And that is followed by our next variety, which is called the Silver Line Duracoat Semi-Frosted Acacia. This is a darker grayish tone overall, and they sparkle a little bit with that silver lining. You can see hints of that showing up, even though the exterior has a matte finish, does tone down the silver lining just a little bit. And a lot of these are actually really great neutral tones that would go with so many different projects. Really stunning and elevated look to what could ordinarily be just a plain gray bead. Kind of like this next one, these are absolutely stunning. They're called the Copper Lined Crystal. So they look extra shiny and metallic. The crystal clear lining surrounds the very shiny copper interior, that surrounds each of those holes. And there isn't an additional coating of AB or luster or anything on top. So you really just get that pure copper color gleaming through the crystal glass. And last but not least, these may be one of my favorites from this package. They're called Opaque Dark Olive Luster. And there's the most beautiful hint of reddish, purple, warmer, fiery tones on the opaque dark olive green beads, which are also left glossy. And you can see how those have a warmer appearance with the warmer coating over the olive as opposed to that first variety, which was the avocado AB. Those have more of a bluish glimmer, and there's more of that orangey red magenta glimmer. So like I said, just a gorgeous and well thought out palette of 8 different varieties of Delica beads, all in different finishes, but everything being purposefully curated in this way if you were wanting to use all of these colors together. So that wraps it up for the Beads of the Month Club that I received for August 2024. These are some new and very welcome additions to my stash. Everything here I know something that I would use and may not have necessarily picked out on my own, but I'm happy to have these different options because just like painters need a palette of all sorts of different colors, beaders can benefit from having a palette of all different types of materials to choose from when inspiration strikes. So I hope you enjoyed checking out this unboxing. I love to do these so you guys get an opportunity to see what is inside some of these subscriptions up close. That way you can determine which ones are right for you and your individual wants and needs. I highly recommend any of the Beads of the Month Club options and definitely recommend you check out their website. Again, that's linked right down below. And you can use that coupon code OPAL10 to save 10% off the first month of your subscription. As always, feel free to leave me a comment down below. I always love to hear from you, and you can share what you think of this palette or Beads of the Month Club or anything else you'd like to say. Also, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe while you're here because I would love to have you back. Otherwise, that's all for now. I hope to see you all again real soon. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and as always, happy beading.